There was this particular course I did. I was supposed to have the exam the following day. Decided to check the past questions and see what I'll be expecting in the exam. And I discovered that I could not approach any questions in the past question. Although I've been reading the book for a while, but then I checked the past question. It was like I never studied the course at all. I decided that, okay, I'm going to be studying that particular topic or the things that I do not understand the night before the exam. Like at that point, I thought that if I could do that, everything would be okay. I studied from 7 p.m. to 12, no breaks. I kept studying intensely because I was having the exam the following morning and I was so scared like seeing those questions. I thought I was studying the course, but then I was studying nothing. I did that all night, studied the whole thing, kept grinding, checking the book, and I was feeling so much headache, no breaks. But then I went to the exam the following day. I got to the exam hall. A few minutes to the exam, I was still studying the course. I was still doing everything I could. Then I was given the question paper. The questions looked familiar, like it was what I read. But then I went blank. I could not remember a thing from the questions. It was like someone just took it away from me. I saw the questions quite alright. It looked familiar. It was what I read, but then I could not write anything. Then at that point, I got scared. I started shivering and I started looking around because I checked around. I saw all my mates writing. Everywhere was quiet, but then I could not do anything. And I started having these thoughts that, will I even carry this course? Because I've started thinking that I'm going to fail the course. Eventually in that exam, I was able to remember, but then it was because at that point I was worried. I put my head on the table for a while. Then a little bit of information started rolling in, but then I could not finish before the time. And in fact, I could not provide enough information because it was just coming bits by bits. It was not flowing the way it's supposed to be. So my brain started catching the information little by little at that point in time. So it was too late for me. And that was how I had a C in the course. I was expecting an A based on the efforts and everything that I put in the course. But then I got a C in that course. And so I was really pained for that course because it was on applied economics. It was something that has to do with less developed countries and all that. It's not calculation related. It was due to the fact that I procrastinated all through. I didn't study the course the way I'm supposed to study it. Then I discovered that I've not studied anything when I saw the past question. Then I decided to study a night before, and then that happened to me. I failed the course. I had a C, and which really affected my grades a lot. And that was when I realized that studying a night before an exam is a disaster. And if you are thinking of doing it, don't try it. I will advise you not to do it, because of course I understand that studying is not easy, but then try as much as possible to plan your time very well and make sure that you have been studying way before, and make sure that you understand anything you are studying. Make sure that you are checking past questions to know what is expected of you early. Studying a day before your exam or cramming will not do anything for you. I learned the hard way because that was one particular experience I can never forget. At that point, I still remember now. And due to the setback that I experienced at that point in time, I was so pained. I re-strategized and I did well in the second part of the course in 300 level because I knew the mistakes that I made. I didn't understand everything in the course. I was reading, but I thought I was reading, but I was not reading anything. It's still based on everything that I've been saying on this channel. You should not pick up the book and start reading it only without just testing yourself. is not the right way, because if I had tested myself at that point, I would have known that there was nothing there. But I waited like a few hours to the exam before I tested myself, and I realized that I knew nothing. Then I started rushing, I started doing everything, but then I could not meet up because I deprived myself from sleep. I didn't wait for the information to consolidate. My brain didn't process the information, because throughout that night, I didn't sleep at all. I was just reading, and I was just going. I kept going and going and going until I crashed and it broke me. In fact, I made a lot of mistakes in that exam. So in my 300 level, due to the experience that I had, I knew I needed to sleep. I knew I needed to have started studying way before. I knew I have to understand the course. I know what to expect in order for me to tackle the relevant things even a month to the exam. That was when I understood that. I knew that I have to make sure I have to give my brain time to consolidate the information. And in fact, the second part of the course in my 300 level, I was able to do all those, and I performed really well. I had an A in that course, because even a night before that course, I was not going intense, because I have stopped all the problems I was supposed to solve way before. So the night before the exam, I was just revising of what I studied. In fact, I slept well, and I went for the exam, and it was all smooth experience. I was able to flow. I wrote everything I could, and I passed. Studying a night before the exam, cramming especially a night before the exam, cannot do you any good, and you should always understand that. And that is why it's not about the effort you put in what you are studying that matters. It's about, are you putting the effort the right way? Of course, when people ask you, oh, why did you fail that course? I really studied and I still failed. You didn't study right. You studied anyhow you liked, and you expect magic to happen. Magic cannot just happen like that. You need to give your brain time, and you need to know how to do these things very well. I get that you have other things that you are doing. I get that you want to play, and most of the time, this happens majorly because of the fact that most students find courses so difficult. They tend to procrastinate and lack of discipline. But you should always understand that you are in school for a particular reason, and you should take that as a priority. So I will advise you, and I will implore you to make sure that you study early, prepare everything you need to do, know what to expect in any exam, and study way before you go for any exam. Sleep well, take care of yourself, and go for the exam with confidence, because that particular situation can actually kill your confidence. So make sure that you study way before, know what to expect in any exam, and put in your efforts to pass, and do everything you can. So I hope you got so much value from this video. If you did, please like the video and also subscribe to the channel. You can also check out this other video on other things you need in order to study the right way and pass your exam exceedingly. So thank you so much for watching. See you on the next one.